Let's go to number 22 question. A rigid constitution is one that is what? Unwritten. A. Unwritten. Is that the correct answer? No. A rigid constitution is not an unwritten constitution. B. Cannot be changed. It is a rigid constitution can be changed. It can be changed. It can be changed. It is liable to change. C. Is difficult to amend. Wow. Difficult to amend. D. Is weak. A rigid constitution is not weak. It is only rigid, but it's not weak. In the definition of a rigid constitution, there is nothing like weakness there. So what will be our answer? Our answer what? Is difficult to amend. And that will be option C. Why is option C the correct answer? It's because when you say the word rigid here, rigid means something that is not flexible, something that is a little bit tight. And so a rigid constitution is one that is difficult to amend because it must go through a lot of procedures for it to be what? For it to be amended. It will go through a lot of procedures before it can be amended. And so our answer is what? Option C, which is is difficult to amend. The rule of law means what? What does the rule of law means? Think about it. The rule of law. From our definition in government, rule of law simply means, it means what? Law that is above everyone. Rule of law simply means that the supreme law of the country is above everyone. It is supreme. It is above everyone. Rule of law simply means that no matter your status, no matter your political status, no matter your economic status within a country, you are not above the law. No one is above the law. Simply put, rule of law simply means that no one in the state, irrespective of his political status, educational status, economic status, is above the law. No one is above the law. And so with my definition, we know that government rules citizens is not the correct answer. Law is above everyone will be the correct answer. Law is above everyone will be what? The correct answer. Military controls law will not be the correct answer because of rule of law simply means that law is above everyone. President makes laws. Of course, presidents don't even make law. In government, it's not president that makes laws. It is the legislative arm of government that makes law. So our correct answer will be what? B. Law is above everyone. One principle of rule of law is what? From our definition, the principle of rule of law is that one of the principles of the rule of law is that law is supreme. Law is supreme. Law is supreme. Equality. Let's also talk about equality. And so if you look at it here, arbitrary arrest is not the correct answer. That is when you just arrest people for no reason. When nobody is found guilty and you arrest them. So it's not arbitrary arrest. Equality before the law, which is option B. Equality before the law is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Equality before the law is the correct answer. Why is C not the correct answer? Because rule of law is not about dictatorship. It's not somebody dictating. You cannot dictate in the rule of law. Under the rule of law, dictatorship is not allowed. Military supremacy is not correct because one of the principles of the rule of law is that the law is supreme. Supremacy of the law, equality before the law. So our correct answer is what? Letter B. Let's go to number 25. Separation of powers was propounded by Karl Marx. Was it by Karl Marx? No. Karl Marx did not what? Did not propound the theory of separation of power. John Locke did not do that. Baron de Montesquieu, he did that. Rossi did not do that. Baron de Montesquieu was the one that came up with what? The separation of powers. So that in a system of government, particularly in democracy, everyone can be given the right and rule, the right and privilege to what? To demonstrate.
Get the cheapest science materials from allschoollabs.com.
Legitimacy and what? And steer the affairs of the state within their own jurisdiction. Within their own jurisdiction. So, Barring the Wonder School was the one that propounded separation of powers, so that one arm of government will not rule everything. Everybody will be able to rule, and there will be what? There will be checks and what? Checks and balances. Majorly the reason for this is so that there will be what? Checks and balances. Don't forget, so that there will be what? Checks and balances. That is why he propounded the separation of powers. Number 26 question. Checks and balances ensure what? Power abuse. Does it ensure power abuse? A. No. Look at it. It's called checks. If you are checking somebody and you are balancing somebody or balancing a process, there will be no abuse. There will be no abuse. Cooperation only. No branch dominates. Military rule. In military rule, there's nothing like checks and balances, because whatever the military says is final. Cooperation only. No. The answer will be what? No branch dominates. No branch dominates. That is, the three arms of government are not given the right to dominate over another arm of government. So no branch dominates. Fundamental human rights include what? Take note of the statement again. Number 27. Fundamental human rights include what? A. Right to steal. If you go back to what you have been taught in government, we know that fundamental human rights does not permit people to steal. So the answer will not be option A, right to life. Option B, will that be the answer? You get to know soon. Option C, right to fight. According to the set rules and regulation of the country, there is nothing like giving people or citizens the right to fight. That is to inflict physical violence on another person. So the answer will not be what? Option C. Right to rule. In fundamental human rights, you cannot just rule. You have to go through the process to rule. So our answer will be what? Right to life. In a country, human beings are given the rights as human beings to what? To breathe in and breathe out, and to live in a country. So the answer is right to live. Right to life. Right to life. Right to life. Number 28 question. The legislature is responsible for the following. Option A, law execution, law interpretation, law making, and law enforcement. Our answer will not be what? Will not be A. Why? The legislature is not responsible for implementing laws. B, option B, law interpretation. The legislature is not also responsible for what? Interpreting laws. It is the judiciary that is responsible for interpreting laws. Why? The executive arm of government is the one that is responsible for executing law. And option C, lawmaking. Will it be lawmaking? We'll get to see very soon. Option D, we have law enforcement. Law enforcement is when law is enforced so that there can be what? Peace and progress in the country, and to maintain law and order. So the answer will not be what? Option D. Why? It is not also the job of the legislative arm of government. Our answer will be what? Law making. In government, the legislative arm of government is responsible for making laws. Making laws. So the correct answer is C, law making. Number 29. The judiciary interprets A, religion. Is that your judiciary? Of course, no. In government, judiciary does not what? Interpret religion. What do they interpret? We'll get to see it soon. Do they interpret economy? No, that's not their job. So they don't interpret economy. They don't interpret religion. Do they interpret culture? No, because culture is talking about the way of life of the people. While economy is talking about activities that fosters trading, that fosters buying and selling, that fosters exchange of what? Goods and services. In order for what? For economic development and to raise funds. So our answer will what? Interprets law. So culture is not the answer, economy is the answer, economy is not the answer, religion is not the answer. The answer is law. The judiciary interprets the rules, the regulations that is used to what? To maintain order, to enforce progress, to steer the progress of a country or a state. So
Run quick tests and analysis. Visit analysis.africa.
answer of what? The judiciary interprets laws. Let's go to number 30. The 30th question. The executive is responsible for what? From the definition I gave you the last time, the job of the executive is to what? Is to implement the laws. Why? If they don't implement laws, the citizens may be tempted to do what they like. Because why? Human beings are given the free will to choose between right and wrong. And so the job of the executive is to what? Is to implement laws, to make sure that laws are implemented in a country so that the country can enjoy what? Speed, experience progress, experience economic stability, experience political development and economic development. So our answer will be what? Implementing laws. The executive arm of government does not make laws. That's the job of the what? Of the legislative arm of government. The job of interpreting laws is not the job of what? It's not the responsibility of the what? Executive arm of government. That is the what? The responsibility of what? The judiciary arm of government. And also judging cases is also the responsibility of the what? Judiciary arm of government. Number 31. Political party. What is political party? A political party is a group of people with similar interests to do what? To do what? To rule. To what? To rule. To rule a government. To rule a government. To take part. To control the government. To control the government. And so for my definition, we know that it's not social club. Social club is when we come together to just socialize, to make friends, to get together and socialize and have fun and enjoy entertainment. It's not a religious body. Because why? A religious body, they come together to serve and to worship God or worship a deity. Cultural group. It's not a cultural group because it's not talking about culture. It is the goal of a political group is to what? Seek for political power in order for them to rule a country. Number 32. One function of political parties is to what? Take note of this. One function. That is one of their role, one of their function, one of their responsibility, one of the things they do is A, they promote war. Of course, from the definition of political parties do not promote war because their goal is to seek for what? Is to seek for political power so that they can rule their country or rule a government. So it's not they don't promote war. Do they stop governance? Of course they don't stop governance. They don't stop governance. Why? Governance is a process whereby law and order is what? Maintained and distributed. Alright? They don't do that. They don't enforce law, that's not their job. Because they have not yet been given the right and privilege to what? To rule. They have not been given the authority or the legitimacy by the citizens to rule. So what will be the answer? Our answer will go to context. They contest election. They contest election. They contest election. Number 33. A one-party system is common in democratic states. Is that true? No. In a democratic state, the one-party system is not practiced. It's not practiced. So the answer will not be A. Option B, dictatorial states. Wow. One party system. Dictatorial state, that is dictatorship. When one person is giving all orders, is giving rules and regulation, and it must be binding. So our answer was dictatorial states. Why is it not federal system of government? This one involves where power is shared among the states. Parliamentary system of government is where the executive arm of government and the legislative arm of government make decisions together to steer the affairs of the state. So our answer will not be D. Our answer will be what? B. Dictatorial states. Why? In one party system, one person has the right and authority conferred on him to make decisions for the progress of that country. So our correct answer is what? Dictatorial states. Multi-party system promotes what? Number 34. Multi-party system promotes what? Look at the first statement. Multi-party. So when you hear the word multi-party, it means more than one party. More than a party. Many parties. What do they promote? When they talk about promote, that is they motivate, they ensure that this takes place, they promote, they steer the progress of something. So multi-party system, do they promote dictatorship? No. Because in a dictatorship, rulership, one person is one that makes decision. C. Military rule. No. Because in a military rule, multi-party system is not allowed. Corruption. Of course, it cannot be corruption because that's not their function. What do they promote? They promote choice. How do they do that? Through voting in elections. They do that through voting in election. In election, people are given the rights and the privilege to what? To make their decision in order to participate in a government. Number 35. Number 35 question. Universal adult suffrage means what? Only men vote. If you look at the definition here, or if you look at the statement here, look at the statement. Universal adult suffrage. The word universal means
400,000 cheap medicines, cosmetics, and analytical supplies. Everything in one big place. AllSchoolLabs.com.
everyone, globally, everyone, everybody. And only men here has cancelled it as not to be the answer. Only men. So if you look at it here, only men is not the answer. So our answer is not only men votes. Only rich votes. Only rich votes. Look at another word here, only rich votes. Universal has already cancelled that. Number letter C. We have all adults votes. So you can see universal all. Universal all adults votes. So option C will be our answer. Why? All adult votes. What is universal suffrage? Universal adult suffrage means all adults are legible. Take note of the statement. Are legible, meaning when you mean they are legible, it means they are qualified to participate in voting processes in order for them to what? To choose who they want to lead them in their country. So the answer will be what? Option C. All adults are privileged to vote. And when you talk about all adults, that starts from 18 years of age. Once you are 18 years of age, you are an adult. Number 36 question. Secret ballots ensures what? A. Rigging. B. Privacy in voting. C. Open voting. D. Military control. Let's look at A. Secret ballots. So when you say secret ballot, it means someone is given the privilege to make his own choice by casting his own votes into the ballot. So will rigging be the correct answer? No, because rigging is talking about cheating in an election. C. Open voting. No, because you have seen the word here, secret ballot. So open voting has already come. The word open, he has cancelled the answer for secret balloting. Military control, of course, during the election, military does not come and decide who votes. Our answer will be what? Privacy in voting, because privacy in voting gives the voters the right to make their votes, to make their decision in who they want to vote for. So the answer will be privacy in voting, and that is option B. So the correct answer is option B. Number 37. Electoral Commission is responsible for the following: A. Making laws. B. Conducting elections. C. Judging cases. D. Enforcing laws. If you look at the options, making laws is the responsibility of what? Of the what? The legislative arm of government. So our correct answer will not be what? A. Option B. Conducting elections. Option C. Judging cases. Who are the people that judge cases in the government? The machinery that judge cases in the government, judges cases in the government, is what? Is the judiciary arm of government. So our answer will not be what? Option C. Option D. Enforcing laws. That is the responsibility of what? Of the executive arm of government. They are the ones that what? Implement and enforce law in order for what? For the will and the vision and the aspiration, the goal of a state to be what? Accomplished. So our answer will not be option D. What then will be our answer? Our answer will be what? Option B. Why? Conducting election. And that is the job of what? The Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is the commission or the organization that is responsible for conducting free and fair election. So our answer will be what? Conducting elections. Number 38. Voters register to dash. Is it to pay tax? No. You have seen the word here. Voters. When you talk about voters, you're talking about casting your votes, making your decision. Who will become your representative in government. And so paying tax will not be the answer. Because when I'm talking about paying tax, I'm talking about paying a stipulated amount of money because of what? Economic activities within that state. Voters register to what? Option B. Be eligible to what? To vote. Option C. Join parties. Look at the statement. They don't need to vote to join parties. Voters register to what? Do they register to join parties? Of course no. They are called voters. So that means they're already in a party, or they already belong to a party, or they like a party. So you don't have to join a party that's not the goal. Option D, become leaders. Of course, voters don't register to become leaders. They don't register to become leaders. So what do? They register so that they can be qualified to participate in voting process. In a voting process. And so the answer is what? They register to what? To be eligible to vote. Without registration, no one is qualified that is eligible is qualified to vote. Once you are of the eligible age to vote and you don't register, you cannot vote. Registration is the first step to become qualified or eligible to participate in election process. Number 39 question. Election rigging means what? What does election rigging mean? Look at the statement. Election, the process of what? Casting votes to choose who you want to lead you in your country. Rigging. What does rigging mean? Rigging means illegal acts, cheating, doing things the wrong way. So, election rigging means what? Does it mean fair election? No. Fair election is when people are given the right to cast their votes and choose who they want to lead them. So, it will not be fair election. Manipulation of results. B. Manipulation of results. Would that be the answer? You will get to see it soon. C. Free voting. Election rigging does not permit free voting because what? There is cheating already. There is violence. There is force. Transparent process. Transparent process. You have seen the word here, rigging. From my explanation, rigging is cheating, doing things the wrong way during election process. So in transparent process, the answer, no. In transparency, you talk about everything is open, everyone can see. Everyone can see what is going on. Everyone is given the privilege to see what is happening. So therefore, we know that our answer will not be option D. What would that therefore be our answer? If option A is not the answer, option C is not the answer, option D is not the answer, therefore our answer will be what? Option B. Manipulation of results. That is when results are manipulated. Meaning that if the number of people that voted is not up to 50, they can lie and say 50 voted. If 50 voted and the remaining, and it was 50 that voted, they can go and forge more papers and add it until they now see 100 people voted. So manipulation of results. Manipulation of results. We go to the 40th question, which is the last question for today's class. Referendum. What is referendum? Referendum is what? Let's look at the option. Election of leaders, voting on an issue, military decision, party system. I take it again. Referendum is A. Is it option A, election of leaders? Look at the word now, referendum. Is that the definition of referendum? Election of leaders is, this one is talking about voting process. So it cannot be what? Option A. Voting on an issue. Oh, will that be the answer? We'll get to see. Option C. Without be the answer, we'll get to see. Option D. Without be the answer, we'll get to see. Now, option C tells us that what? Military decisions. That's what it says. Referendum is military decision. And referendum is not about military decision. Because in referendum, we don't focus on military. It's not about military. It's first of all about people, not military. It's about the masses, about the citizens, not just the military. So it cannot be, the answer will not be what? Option C. Party system. A party system is what? It's a kind of system that seek for what? Political power in order for them to be given the privilege and the right to what? To rule in a country. And so the answer will not be what? Party system. What would therefore be our answer? Our answer will be what? B.
Run credible medical tests and chemical analysis here, from malaria to HIV tests.
Referendum simply means when there is a pressing issue or a pressing matter in a country that requires citizens to vote by saying a yes or a no because it is a serious matter. And the required answer from the citizens will either be a yes or a no. And so therefore our answer was voting on an issue. Alright. If you really enjoyed today's class, I would like you to do what? We have actually come to the end of today's session. And if you truly enjoyed today's class, I'd like you to go what? To do what? To click the like button, click the share button, and also subscribe to our channel. See you in next class.
Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the video you just watched. To see more content as that, prepare you for your upcoming exam, make sure to smash the subscribe button and turn on notification. Also, remember that you can use the comment section to send us your questions or your inquiries, and we are happy to take them. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.